looked at the cast list and it was like Brad Pitt, Drake, Lil Dicky, Rachel McAdams. And I was like, what the? I was like, me? I was like, how the hell did I book this? I went on set. I was super nervous. I met, hopefully I'm allowed to say that because I signed an NDA, but.
Welcome to another episode of That One Time podcast, where we interview interesting people doing cool things under the pillars of health, wealth, and wisdom. Today, my guest is Vic Brew. He is an actor based out of Los Angeles. We spoke about the specifics of acting, the mindset of acting, how to be successful in various fields, and a number of other things. We met at a party after Coachella this year, and I really liked his energy. We hit it off and stayed in touch. And as I began to explore his social media and the things that he was doing, I thought it would be really, really interesting to have a conversation with him. So I hope you enjoy. If you like this, please give us a 5-star review and a follow on whatever platform you're listening to this on. It helps us so much. Enjoy the episode. Before we get into it, I'd like to chat about today's sponsor, VitaDrop. I've been using the VitaDrop sleep product for about a year now, and it absolutely blew me away the first time I used it. I looked at my sleep tracker and it had a 30% increase in my REM sleep. I'm somebody who spends a lot of time trying to optimize my sleep, and I'd never seen anything like that have a significant impact as it did. I remember messaging the co-founder, podcast guest, as well as a good friend of mine, Charlie, about it the next day, completely blown away. And then I've also shared this information with a number of people who have come back extremely surprised and very impressed with how much better they've slept once they've taken that sleep product. So they have 4 different products for 4 different day-to-day experiences. One of them being sleep, the next one being hydration, the third one being focus, and the fourth one being a collagen supplement. You can grab them both in ready to drink and in sachets that you mix with water. So if you're interested, use the code TOT in the description below to get 25% off your next order. Vic.
Hey.
Welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, we had some technical difficulties on our first take, but we're back to go round 2. So let's get into it. If you could give us an elevator pitch of who you are, what you do, and how you contribute to the world, how would that sound?
Well, my name is Vic Brew. I am an African-born American living here in Los Angeles. I am a sales expert, but currently working in entertainment, so those skills translate over. And I produce movies and TV shows, and I also act.
You mentioned that you're a sales expert, and that translates into the creative work that you're doing. What does that mean?
So I started my journey in corporate tech sales. And so I, sold to like a bunch of state and local government representatives, some Air Force and Navy clients as well. And I think sales and marketing, it's kind of just building that trust with your customers and being some sort of a consultant, I guess, helping them find what they need and just being that liaison between them and the product. And so it translated over to entertainment because now the product, as far as acting goes, is me. And then as far as films and TV shows go, that's the product as well. And I need to use those same skill sets that I had when I was working in tech to get that done in entertainment. Sell shows, get them put on platforms so people can watch them. And then as far as acting goes, sell myself so that I can book roles.
Yeah, nice. And before we dig into that, I've got a few questions I wanted to explore, but you briefly mentioned you're African-born, American now. So what were the contexts of the early years that kind of got you to this point, shaped you, and helped, develop the man who you are now? Yeah,
so I grew up in Africa, in Ghana specifically. And I remember when my aunt told me that I was going to move and go live with my mom in the States. So my mom had already left earlier to kind of just make something of herself and, bring some money back to the family. And so I just remember thinking that, like, man, I'm getting a big opportunity to really go and dive, immerse myself into this new culture and just grind, just go hard and make my mom proud, make my aunt proud, and then just like bring home the bacon.
And how did that manifest? So you studied?
So I went to school, got my bachelor's degree, and then got my master's degree, and then got this job at this big tech company and worked there, and made a decent amount of money. And so I went back home to the same family, told them about it. My aunt is very old now, but she still remembers like me and has been supporting me the whole time, and she was just so proud. So it all worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Okay, there's two questions I want to run through here. So you mentioned briefly about selling yourself as an actor and how you have to market yourself and really push yourself. In the creative fields, I've noticed that is a challenge for a lot of people because it's very vulnerable and you really leave yourself up to scrutiny. How have you gone about building your name in the acting world, and how important was the deep family ties that you had in having that confidence to put yourself out there?
Yeah, I think that one, having a support system is huge in anything that you do. If you have somebody or if you have people that are behind you that are always rooting you on, and it doesn't matter if you succeed or fail, they still have your back. That's always very refreshing to know. And so my family has been that for me. They was always there to back me up. And the tough days, they would walk me through it and be my therapeutic just hug that I needed sometimes to get through those tough times. But really, in this industry, it's you just have to just get used to it. You have to get used to taking no's. And obviously, coming from a sales background, I get no's all the time. I was never that pushy door-to-door salesman. Well, actually, I was in the beginning, but not really the majority of my career. But used to just people saying, no, we don't want to buy anything, and no, we're not interested, and no, we don't have enough money. And so I just literally just translated all that over. And then I think one other thing that really helped me out was in acting class, you just have to be super vulnerable. That's how you can really live a scene to its truest form. And so you just got to get out of yourself, get out of your mind, get out of your skin. And you have a whole panel of actors behind you that some are way more professional than you, some are newer, but everybody's just watching you, and you just have to do it. You just got to just get out of your shell and just get judged, and keeping in mind too, that as an actor, like that's part of the job. Like we're artists, we want to get reaction from people, whether good or bad. Like that's why we do it. We're
for sure.
So.
For sure. What's a story around a vulnerable action you've taken and how it played out in potentially in a positive way?
Yeah. So I'm usually like a very happy person. I try to stay positive all the time. I don't really have time. I don't like to give myself like negative energy because it just doesn't help me be productive in any way. But there was one time in acting class where the professor, or I guess the coach, challenged me to really, really dive deep into my scene. And the scene had something to do with this guy who had done something super messed up. I'm pretty sure it was he killed my wife or something like that. Because he was drunk driving and she died as a result. And I basically just had to give him a piece of my mind. And so I just really, really sat there and used my imagination skills and just trying to solve the imagery. And I was pissed, and I just let it all out on this poor guy in my acting class in front of everyone. And I was yelling, and I was angry, and I was mad, and it was well received only because it was true to the scene and true to the emotions of what a man would really go through in that situation. So yeah, everyone was clapping, and I was like, "Yeah, good job! You really went into it," versus the fake, you're not actually mad, but you have to play mad. But people can tell when you're fake acting, and this is what I'm trying to get at. But
what value do you think empathy and a wide understanding of the human experience plays in your ability as an actor?
It is huge. I think if you don't understand, you'll never have the ability to portray somebody else. Like, you have to be able to empathize with people and not judge them. One of the biggest things they teach us in class is never judge a character. Try and understand what they're going through and why they are the way that they are, and, what makes them them, so that you can play them to their truest form. And so empathy is huge. As I go through life, and I like to travel, I go to a bunch of different places. I meet so many different people. I try to understand what they go through and how their life is different than ours in the States, and what makes them them, and why they might be keen to, as an example. We don't want to talk about that, but yeah, but like,
tell me more.
Stuff like that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's probably a good analogy for life in general, and taking that concept of not judging a character in a movie to not judging anybody, because there's a lot of context and nuance to their experience.
Mm-hmm.
And you can probably learn a lot more by being curious than being judgmental about it.
Yeah, one of the best books I ever read. If you haven't read it, check it out. Curious by Ian Leslie. It's amazing.
Interesting. No, I haven't read it. I'll add it to the show notes.
Yeah. It teaches you a lot about...
What's it about?
Just curiosity and just maintaining that childlike, when you were a kid, you wanted to, if a stove was burning, you wanted to touch it and just see how it felt, to burn your finger, because you were curious. And as we get older, we would kind of lose that curiosity because we are either lazy or we're distracted, or we just don't care anymore. And so it's kind of finding a way to get back to that childlike curiosity so that we can continue to grow as a society and understand each other better and understand the world better.
Mm-hmm. Have you always had that curiosity, or did you lose it when you went into corporate at all?
I started to lose it when I went into corporate, which is why I hated it so much. I wanted to get out. I have always been a curious person. I'm one of those types of guys that knows a little bit about a lot of different things. People would be surprised to think that I speak Spanish. I'm pretty fluent in Spanish. I know a little bit of French.
No hablo español, por favor.
No,
je ne parle pas français.
Just knowing a little bit about everything, right? And so or that I have a master's in data science and I know a lot about tech and coding and stuff like that. It's like, code, dude? It's like, yeah, I know how to. And so, yeah, it's just, I just like to, I think that me being curious and knowing a little bit about a lot helps me connect with as many people as possible. And my goal and passion is to aim to connect to as many people as possible. And to be honest, that's why I'm in TV and film, because I want to reach the largest audience I possibly can through the best medium, which is that, and connect with as many people as I can, and hopefully spread positivity, love, and understanding.
So you were talking a bit about promoting yourself as an actor. Mm-hmm. What are some specific ways you've done that, and what are some specific tips that you can give to people who are wanting to put themselves out there more?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first thing that everybody should do that wants to be an actor is to go to acting class, surround yourself around other actors. That's probably the easiest thing you can do. Unfortunately, it costs money. But, here in LA, there's a lot of different studios that give you a decent amount of free sessions. You can go in and just audit and watch. But, when people start to see you, especially in those professional type settings where other people are already actors and whatnot, that's a great way to advertise yourself. I think another great way is social media. My Instagram page used to be very just kind of like a personal page. Whereas I'd post pictures of me and my friends drinking, going to parties or festivals or a bunch of random stuff that if someone were to look at your page, they're like, you're not an actor. You're just a regular old dude, So I had gotten some advice from a manager and I started modifying my page and changing things around and feel like now when people go to my page, they can see that. And so that's another good way. And then say between social media and just going into those professional settings, I would say just talking about it. You have to convince yourself that you're an actor, because if you don't believe it, nobody else will. So you have to start telling yourself that every day. I know it's hard. I know it's annoying when you tell people you're an actor and they're like, what have you been in? And you're like, nothing yet, but I'm going to be. You just have to have that confidence and know that you're just at the beginning of your journey, and it's okay. Just like in the real world, we all have to build our resume. So it takes time, and you'll get it done.
Do you think there's a bit of like embarrassment and shame about somebody saying they want to be an actor and then getting that pushback?
Absolutely not. I mean, there is a little bit of embarrassment for sure from the person saying it. I would feel embarrassed at times until I got my first role, but I don't think that there should be. I think that people will always try to find ways and means to kind of diminish your light or make you feel lesser. But it's all about you and how much you love yourself and what you believe. And if you're in your head, you're like, I know I haven't been anything yet, but I know that I will be. I know that it's just a matter of time. I know that I'm killing it in class and I'm putting in the work. So it's going to happen for me. Then, who's to say anything? I mean, people can say whatever they want. That's part of the, getting no's all the time and getting rejected. We'll just say getting rejected because it's just part of the business. You're always going to get rejected.
So run me through how you've been able to cultivate that confidence as you develop in the industry.
Yeah, for me, I mean, doing professional sales, again, I'm always dive back to that for almost 10 years now. It's always been that. It's just been, being in all these different rooms with different people and trying to sell different products and services and just getting no's and no's and no's. That has helped build my confidence tremendously. I also have been a part of a friend group of guys who are all kind of successful in their own right, but different industries, but they're all very critical and they love, I don't know if I can cuss on here, but talking. Okay. They all love talking shit. So, we all give each other a hard time and challenge each other and, just try and like build each other's tough skin up, by just like, yeah. Have you seen the roasts of Tom Brady yet?
No. Oh, maybe.
It just came out like 2 or 3 days ago. It's on Netflix's Joke Festival. Like having friends like that literally just go up and just roast you. It's like, man, you can at this point, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, because I've heard it all at this point. So, it's like having friends like that. It's going on dates with girls and getting rejected, or asking girls out and getting rejected. So
I'm good. I'm really good at that, bro. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's a mix of all of it, I think. And so, I think that's kind of how I've built my confidence up. Sports is another great place. I was an athlete for a long time. I did pro track and field, played soccer. So all those are great helps too in building confidence.
I come across this quite a lot. There's the collegiate athlete or the really successful gamer in high school tends to translate really well into business down the line. I don't know what it is. It's like this understanding of the ability to focus on a task and then get better at it. I see it across a lot of different people that I speak to. I wasn't the athlete, but I was a bit of a gamer. Like I was pretty serious on World of Warcraft when I was in my early high school days. And I remember one day, like my confidence was shocking. I played sports for a long time. I never got above middle of the pack in any of those sports. And then probably I'm about 16, 17. And I started getting really, really good at the PvP, like fighting somebody else in World of Warcraft. And it began because I made it a study So I'd watch YouTube videos and I would critique it, and then I would practice. I'd go to these little training grounds and fight just constantly for hours, just fight people and watch YouTube videos. And then something clicked, and I realized, oh shit, I can get good at things, really good at things, to the point where at one point before I ended up focusing on school, I was in a team that was top 30 in the world. Wow. Yeah, we had a really, really good team. We were beating all the professional players who were making hundreds of thousands of dollars, competing, and we were at that level. And then I remember realizing that was the first time in my life when I realized, oh shit, I can get good at things to a point of being highly competitive at it. Yeah. Through just studying it and working and practicing.
Yeah, no, I love what you're saying, because I say this to all my friends, and I say this to people all the time. They're like, what do you contribute success to? And I'm like, obviously it's working hard, but it's like, I feel like if you once you convince yourself that you really want to do something because it's what you're passionate about, or it's what you've always been dreaming, or it's what you want to do, you have to first convince yourself, then second, develop that obsession for it. And once you get that obsession for it, you're literally going to do nothing, or you will stop at nothing until you accomplish it, right? You're, like you said yourself, like you really wanted to be good at World of Warcraft. So you started going to the training grounds, you started doing all these things and practicing and watching YouTube videos. Same thing with me in acting, like I would watch videos. I would watch how Denzel gets to his scene. There's so many videos nowadays where they'll show you the script on like the side of the video, and then they'll show you what the actor did in the actual scene, and you can see how it translated from words to actual performance. And
wow,
I'm always watching those videos. Yeah, it's called scripted. You can look it up on Instagram too.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, and so like I became obsessed with it. Like I'm like always watching videos. Like I get random emails. Like I'll see something in a newspaper and it says like free acting seminar with famous Hollywood Nowadays, if I see stuff like that, I probably won't be so hungry to go chase after it. But in the beginning, yeah, I'm going to everything. I'm immersing myself in everything that I can possibly put my hands on. I'm obsessed with it. Like I knew that this is what I wanted to do, so I put in the work.
Love it. You know what? I think it was less about wanting to be good at it, and it was more about enjoying it and just and wanting to get better at it because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That was the core of it. Like it wasn't a massive grind to sit there for hours and practice because it was fun. It was fun. I was getting better. I was enjoying it. So now it's like, all right, I want to get better at something. I know I can get better at it for one. And I just approach it in the exact same way. It's, you study it, you get feedback, you use that feedback to improve, then you study something new, and you just keep building that feedback loop, and you get better and better and better very quickly. But you have to focus on it. You can't just like do it for 1 or 2 sessions and then be like, oh, no, it's too hard.
Yeah, and you're only going to focus on it if you enjoy it. And same with me. Like the minimum acting class, like literally the minimum acting class is 3 hours. I haven't been in an acting class my whole career that's been less than 3 hours. Yeah. And you're literally sitting in a chair to the point where your butt hurts and your back hurts. Yeah. Just watching different actors perform, and then eventually you go and you get your turn. A lot of classes are built that way. Like you get to go perform, and then people will critique you and help you get better. And then you have to watch everybody else. But it never gets boring for me because I love it. It's just like, this is just fun. We're all just playing, and you get to see how people do different scenes in a different way and stuff like that. So,
yeah, brilliant. Yeah. I want to dip back in before we move on. You mentioned you switched up your social media strategy from your personal page to being very focused on acting. Run me through where your social media was at before you made that decision, because like you have a pretty reasonable page now. It's got a reasonable amount of following. It looks pretty professional. It's very clear. So where was it? How long ago was that? What were the actual genuine like key decisions you made? To move in that direction, because it's quite important, I think.
Yeah, I treated it like my LinkedIn page in a way, except more photos and videos. I wanted people to just go to my page and immediately think he's an actor, So if you go to my page, I pinned the 3 most kind of credible. I mean, there's more stuff that I haven't put up yet, which I will put up here soon. But you'll see like some credible, shows or films that I've been in. And it's pinned right at the top, so you can see that. It's in my bio. You scroll down, you'll see some like not theatrical, cinematic shots, et cetera, et cetera. And I have it that way because I want, let's say you're a director and you come to my page and you're like, oh, like I'm looking for an actor for this film. Are you going to take me more seriously if you see a more professional page that has all those attributes? Or if you see like my old page, which was, if I even went to a football game or whatever, I just have that like there. Or if it was my friend's birthday party, or I posted every single New Year's pic and Christmas pic. So it's like a bunch of alcohol and just like stuff that people wouldn't really take you seriously, so just had to clean it up. At least for now, I feel like once you kind of have a name for yourself, you can do whatever you want. Because people
That's
know
what
who
I was
you
going
are.
to say. Yeah, it goes back to now people just are curious about your Christmas.
Yeah, that's what we switched back to. Okay, now I can post whatever.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So basically, pick the lane you want to go down, be very clear and considered about it until you build a name. And then after you've built your name, people are curious about you as you, and your reputation can carry.
Exactly. And you do the behind the scenes stuff, and you do the, the life stuff and all that stuff. So.
Did you archive a bunch of your stuff? I'm guessing you deleted and archived all your shit.
Yeah. So Instagram actually, the algorithm will not favor you if you delete it. So I always recommend just archive it, because who knows, maybe 5 years down the road, you can unarchive it and then people see those old baby photos that you post. So, little
I love
nuggets.
I love it.
But yeah, definitely always archive. Don't delete.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you had any other solid outcomes on your social media work that you've done that are worth noting? Like you've connected with somebody like an actor that you're a huge fan of, or you've got a job from a very specific, I saw this and that was great, therefore here we are. Like what's an example of something that's happened?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a bunch of that type of stuff. I'll just talk about most recently, and I know we can't go into it, but like literally this big movie project that I'm going to be working on was given to me because this lady just found my page on Instagram, was scrolling through, and she was like, man, I love what this guy's about. And so she wrote a script, and then in the script, the character that she wrote, she was like, you're exactly who I was thinking of for it. I really want you to do it. I'm having all these big studio execs trying to buy the script for me and cast the movie themselves and do whatever they want with it, but I want you to do it. I think that you're the perfect fit. And I also know that this is going to help really elevate your career. So that's why I'm picking you. And like in sales, we call it a bluebird. That's when you get a big deal out the blue that no one expected. Yeah. And it is a quota buster. So you finish your whole quota for the year. You don't have to work anymore. Everything's good. And so, not sales, but in entertainment, that's kind of like the same thing. It's like those once in a lifetime opportunities that just get thrown at you, and you just got to execute.
I love it. So, moving into positions that you want to take on and the general career trajectory, have you taken everything you can to begin with, or have you been a lot more specific about the work you want to take on from the get-go to potentially have it be slower, short-term, but more aligned with who you are and what you want?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's first, and this is the hardest thing to do because even in life, it's hard to do this, but I think you have to define like what you want to be known as and what type of roles you like. I guess my advice on that is probably go to the shows that you watch the most, because if you watch them that much, you probably like them. So you probably see yourself in them, or maybe not, but kind of just
Real Housewives of California for me. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like find your niche, because the more specific you are, the more successful you'll always be. And so when you find your niche, a lot of mentors and a lot of people always say in the beginning, just say yes, build your resume. When I was working in corporate before I got the big jobs that I had gotten, I had worked at Target, I had worked at Safeway, I had a lawn mowing service. I did all those little small odd jobs to build a resume and get my name up. And so same thing in entertainment. But make sure that because you have your niche or your goals in mind, that you don't do anything to tarnish those. So like for me, I wanted to always kind of play the hero archetype, and my like dream is to play in a Marvel movie. You know, if God wants me to be the next Black Panther, that would be amazing. It'd be sick. And so like I can't do certain roles that I've gotten asked to do, like be a murderer or be a rapist or anything crazy like that, you know? And so it's like, that doesn't really serve my vision. And it's like, how can you play that, but then be a superhero? So I try to just like say yes to roles that align with my morals, my goals, and it kind of will, you know, sell yourself short a little bit, but I think that there's so many opportunities out there that you should be fine, you know?
That's a good way. An abundant mindset versus a scarcity mindset. I really like that. That's a key element there.
Right.
There is a lot out there. You just have to attract the right things.
Exactly.
What's his name? The actor Green with the book Greenlight. Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I watched a video. Yeah, he's the best. He's one of my favorites. I watched a video of him talking about how he went from, I'm pretty sure it was Matthew McConaughey, may not have been, but how he went from like fun, kind of lighthearted, comedic guy to much more serious roles. And he kept saying no to these roles that were coming in, to the point where the money was getting ridiculous, and you know, they'd come back and re-offer another $5 million and he kept saying no. He was like,
that's crazy. I'm saying yes if it's that much, but
well, that's. Yeah. I mean, I guess at that point you're like, right.
At least once.
At least, well, it's probably done, right? Like he'd done those, he's had those wins, and at that point, it's like,
oh, okay. So
like he was already successful, and he then wanted to change his approach.
Gotcha.
And I think it was him. Anyway, the story was that they were getting millions and millions of dollars added to their offers for these roles that weren't suited, and they just had to stand fast and say no. And then eventually it worked out. But I think a core thing with the creative industry is being careful with how your like energy is being applied, because if you don't, if you do things that are going to genuinely drain your soul, they drain your creative energy, and you just get destroyed.
Literally get destroyed. There's so many stories of artists that played roles that changed their lives. You know, R.I.P. Heath Ledger, the role literally ended up killing him.
It's wild.
There's other roles, or even in music, like you'll have some artists that have these long-standing careers, but they were always doing types of art that they just didn't like, but the studio execs liked it, and it made a lot of money. But then they're like going home and doing drugs to cope because they hate what they're doing. They don't actually like it. So it's just like, you know, we only get one life. Just make sure you're doing what you love and protecting your peace. And then also, I think I'll say that there's a lot of power in knowing your value. And so, like you were saying with Matthew McConaughey example, you know, saying no when you feel like this doesn't serve me, this is not, I'm worth more than this, or I believe that I should be doing this, not that. Like, you know, it's okay. So,
definitely. Yeah. Have you read the book The Creative Act by any chance, by Rick Rubin?
Mm-mm.
Dude, I highly recommend it. It's one of the best creativity books I've ever read.
Really?
Yeah, wow. Amazing. To the point where it's like a handbook.
Creative Act. Let me add it to my list.
Amazing. I would put that at the top of your list, and then come back to me once you've read it, because we can talk about it. We can reflect on it.
Yeah. By who?
Rick Rubin.
Rick Rubin. Oh, I see it. Yep. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Love it. So, so you've spoken about being the hero archetype. How do you then strategically frame yourself in that space?
Yeah, I don't want to just be the type of person that just talks about it and isn't about it. It's
half of LA, bro.
Yeah, it's half of LA. You know, on my page, it's evident, and I'm actually trying to figure out how to do it even better than I'm currently doing it. But I'm always spreading positivity and inspiration, and and just positive vibes. I want to inspire people and make them feel motivated. And so I always post quotes on my stories. Sometimes I add it to my pictures that I post as well. It's always on my captions in my videos and my reels and stuff. And so I'm just trying to like let anybody know that anything's possible and you can do what you want to do if you just believe in yourself and put in the work. But like going above and beyond that, I have a nonprofit that I started that it's gonna help me get back to my country, back in Ghana, and just build opportunities for the younger generation out there, and also help with giving them infrastructure so that they can have those opportunities and do those things. So yeah, I'm trying to do what I can to help.
So the nonprofit, let's dig into that a little bit more. It sounds really interesting. Sure. So what is it called? What's your aim with it specifically?
Yeah.
And how are you going about building that?
Yeah. So it's called the Gold Coast Forever Foundation. Ghana's on the Gold Coast, a rich, beautiful country. It's actually becoming more and more popular for some reason in recent years. But the purpose of the foundation originally was to help build the infrastructure and just give more type of access to different things to connect with different communities, because everything's so kind of split and far apart, being that it's in Africa and it's a third world country and it's underdeveloped. So helping out with there. And then, after all of that is done and money is made from that part of it, investing that money into creative outlets in like a studio or like recording studio or anything like that, so that people can go and be creative and just kind of help build.
Nice. Have you had any wins with that yet? Anything specific you want to talk about?
No, it's new. It's very, very new. The win was getting it created, because getting a business created in the States is a lot easier than getting it created in Africa. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, it literally took like no lie, like 4 months to get it done. Paperwork and all.
Damn.
Waiting, filling out documents. They're a lot more strict and strenuous on like people forming a business out there. So yeah, it took a while.
I wonder why.
Me too. And it costs a lot more. So yeah, me too.
I mean, those barriers to entry really hurt the society as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good thing about America. It's a place where you can just make shit happen. If you're really serious about it, you can almost do anything here.
Literally.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I've come over from Australia. Like, I was pretty content and relatively happy in my small town of 200,000 people in Australia outside of Melbourne. And then I came here and I experienced like the energy of New York, and I was like, holy shit, this is on a whole nother level. And I've never felt this before. And I can't be fulfilled in Australia without seeing this through. So now here we are.
Yeah. I love Australia, man. It's crazy how everything's backwards, but I love it.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Look, I'll probably, eventually go home and, raise a family there. I feel like it'll be safer than America. But
yeah, no, I agree. I was always thinking that too. I mean, my family obviously wants me to go back to Africa, but I don't know. I really like Europe. I'm a big fan of Europe.
What do you like about Europe?
Man, I just love how artistic it is. Like, Barcelona is literally one of my favorite cities in the world. It's Gaudi inspired. The buildings, the architecture, the way that it's just like a romantic, or Italy. Like, Italy is just so perfect to me, it's just so scenic, and I just feel more creative and more like free. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And then obviously the people are just so much more nicer. They value life more over there. It's cleaner. There's not as many people trashing the place. And in Spain they have these things called siestas, and people literally will take naps for like an hour or two throughout the day.
That's so good. It's my kind of life.
Yeah, you know. So I like that. I like just being able to live and just enjoy. And everyone's so nice.
Yeah, I love it. My family, my mum's side's Italian, so I'm eligible for an Italian citizenship if I want to get it.
Wow, you should get it.
I'm working on it. It's a shit show. To be honest, it's really hard to get. So it's on the list. You've reminded me. I'll make a note to keep working on that.
So getting the business formed in Ghana was 4 months, but getting citizenship was like almost a year. So
that's crazy.
I would say if you're not a citizen, you can't do it. So yeah, I would say plan a year and 4 months if you want to start a business up.
Yeah, love it. I just want to get my nice little house on the cliff on the Amalfi Coast.
Oh yeah,
you know, work and crush it in New York, and then just head over there for the summer.
Just head over there. I literally was just talking to one of my brothers about it yesterday. I was like, "Yo, what was that name? What was the name of the place in Italy with the gondolas?" And we literally it took us 30 minutes to figure it out. He said Venice.
Venice, yeah.
He said Positano, and he's like, "Hold on, let me call my." It's different. Yeah. He's like, hold on, let me call my friend real quick. Amalfi Coast. He's like, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Nice.
So I'm going to try and go out there. I'm going to a Cannes Film Festival this Sunday.
Nice.
I got a film that I'm an associate producer on.
Nice.
That is airing. So
that's exciting.
Kudos. Yeah, it's exciting, but I'm just happy to also like travel a little bit and take a little break from all this hustle and bustle.
For sure. Yeah, I think you need it. There's the rest helps to solidify ideas and give you kind of some space to let the neural net form in your brain of the next steps. You can't just be going. You end up burning out.
Like remotivate yourself too, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I feel like just being around. So this trip is going to be so good for me because I'm obviously going to the film festival. So I'm going to be around other creatives. So that's going to be motivating and inspiring, and seeing how other people's short films or films are getting so much buzz, and there's going to be investors there and all that type of stuff. That's great. But then like just taking the time to relax and just be free and going to my favorite places like in Spain and Italy, and just literally just letting my mind wander and getting more creatively inspired, you know?
Yeah, it's funny how when you have the space to just not do anything, all these problems get solved. It's really strange.
Yeah.
The shower, going for a walk with no headphones, having a holiday where you're just doing nothing. You come back and you're like...
It's tough in our generation because like we have so many distractions. They touch on this in the book too, in the book Curious, but we have so many distractions that it's hard for us to literally like do anything. But in the old days, people would literally take like hours of the day to just sit still and reflect. And I feel like that was one of my New Year's resolutions, where I would try and reflect on my days and my weeks. And instead of journaling, because I hate writing, my handwriting, I mean, it's not even that bad. I just hate doing it. But I would do like voice notes and just like, so today I did this, and like, you know, just reflect on my day, and then like listen to them back. I fell off. You know, it takes like 3 months to start a habit. I probably have like 2 months done, but it was good though, because like you go back and like listen to your audio tape and it's like, oh, so I did that yesterday, so maybe I should try this differently. Or you talk about like, I would say like today I ran into a lady at the gas station. I was buying gas and she just had an attitude for some reason. I don't know why, but I gave her attitude back. But you know, I'm listening to that myself say that, and then maybe like, as I listen to it, like maybe next time try doing it this way and see how that like, it's just like reflecting on what you're doing and seeing how you can improve always. So
I like it.
Your
I like it a lot. I think I'm going to, I've wanted to do my evening kind of journals quite a lot, and I'm the same. I do it for a bit and then I drop off and then I do it for a bit. But I think the voice thing is not a bad idea, and maybe I'm going to look into doing like a there's got to be a voice to text diary app out there. And if there isn't, that's my new business idea.
No, there's so many of them. Like, with this whole AI crap going around, not even crap, but like this whole AI generation coming, there's tons of voice to text apps for sure.
Yeah. Nice.
Even in your iPhone.
Yeah. Well, that's right. I think this touches on a point that I wanted to tackle, which was journaling and reflecting, it's potentially a part of your ability to keep your peace, and keeping your peace in an entertainment industry is sometimes very difficult to do. So what other techniques and strategies have you employed to kind of keep yourself grounded and maintain that peace?
My favorite thing to do is to travel and to go to these different places, to go to like Europe and just eat my heart out, because there's so many good restaurants and food and places to eat. I love New York too. New York's got a lot of amazing food. Miami.
Come hang, bro.
Yeah, no, I need to. I was there for New Year's.
Nice.
Yeah, amazing food. Miami as well. Louisiana, so good.
I've never been. I'd love to go to Louisiana.
Atlanta, great food. So, I like to eat. I like to travel. I love living here in LA because there's just so many different places you can go to and see. I went to Newport Beach 2 weekends ago. That was so refreshing and nice because it's just like, it's literally like 45 minutes away, but I live in the city here in downtown LA. So it's like different.
Is that like hectic with homeless people? How is that right now?
There's parts of it that are pretty bad. Yeah, for sure. But like, kind of like New York, you just mind your own business and you're good,
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, I don't care what anyone says. I think New York is worse. So, honestly,
New York's pretty. I think the difference is it's very compact here. So the amount of times you interact with different types of people speeds up.
Yeah,
it's probably just the same, but you just experience it at a much more intense level because it's so tight.
Exactly. And here it's like more spread out a little bit too. But I think, honestly, any city, anywhere except in the U.S., because overseas their cities are beautiful. But in the U.S., most cities are pretty like, there's homeless there. It's pretty like busy and like, all that stuff. Besides that, traveling and going on like a hike or just immersing myself into nature, going to the beach. I like to get massages. I'm very, very big on self-care. So I do pedicures, I do massages, do sound baths, I do yoga, sign up for ClassPass. This is not a paid advertisement, but you get a nice assortment of places to check out through ClassPass. So
yeah, nice. I love ClassPass. I've been using it for quite a while. There's an amazing yoga studio here you don't want a full membership, but you want to go once a week. It's perfect.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah.
I love that.
Exactly.
Nice. Yeah. So just generally, kind of to recap it, working on some wellness things, some basic wellness things, reflecting, and just trying your best to enjoy your life in some aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
that's enough to keep you energized.
Like, at the end of the day, like, we all have to work, but work is not our life. Like, let's not forget, before all these corporations and businesses were here, people were just living. Let's go back to the bare necessities of things. Like, look at your dog. All he does is wake up every day and live his life, sleep, eat, relax. That's what we're really supposed to be doing.
Studying YouTube videos on other dogs.
Right. Exactly. But that's just like, you have to live your life. It's like, you only get one, so yeah. And that's why I kind of like being out of corporate, because I get to decide when I need a break from this entrepreneurial hustle and bustle, versus in corporate. And actually, I was blessed in my last job. I had unlimited PTO, but the job before that, it's like you only get 2 weeks in a year. It's crazy to take a vacation. Or was it like a month, or was it like 2 to 3 weeks?
2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks. Yeah.
That's wild.
I've heard an interesting thing about unlimited PTO though. It's required on approval, right? So they can still turn around and tell you no.
Yeah. But so in sales, if you're hitting your quotes, no one can tell you no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could care less. Just give me my money and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, nice. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So trying to live a fulfilled life is a key thing for you. And you're doing that through your career, you're doing that through the life you lead on like travel and everything. How important has the philanthropic arm of the work you're doing been to working towards that fulfillment?
It's been important for me because, like, although selfishly we all want to kind of just do what we want to do and live our lives because it is our life, you only get one. I want to be somebody that's kind of remembered when I'm gone. I want to make sure that I'm contributing to society and leaving something behind me. And so, what better way to do it?
Of you. I could see
a statue would be crazy, but maybe a painting.
Maybe in Ghana. Who knows?
Yeah, hey, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Everything's possible.
Anything is possible, literally. And so, like, I want to be. I don't want to just be another person that just goes through life and no one gives a fuck. You know, I feel like my name is too big for that. The impact I have on people has been too big for that. I know so many people from traveling to almost 30 countries. And people love talking to me because they always feel inspired. I feel like I'm always helping people work through their problems and like motivating them or just giving them a little bit of therapy. So that's why the philanthropic arm is important to me. Like, I just want to be remembered, you know. It's not going to be like Martin Luther King type of thing.
I don't know if he thought he would be Martin Luther King. Like, who knows? He probably didn't even want to be Martin Luther King.
Yeah, no, seriously, honestly, you're right. And so, yeah, I just want to impact. You know, I love the life that I live. I feel like I'm blessed. I feel like we're all here for a specific reason, whether you're religious or not. We're all here for a specific reason, and so we all kind of should contribute to keeping this thing called the human race going and making it better and better. And obviously, where we are today is so much better than we were decades ago. You know, so many more people have rights. So many more people are being seen, and it took brave people that just cared to even just try and make that impact. And so it's like, what can I do? I've been blessed with so much, but like, I got to give back some way, somehow, you know?
Nice.
And everyone knows, any real person knows the secret to life. And if you don't know this, you're hearing this today, you have to give to receive. So the more you give, the more you'll receive always.
What's been an example of that in your life that's manifested in something really positive?
In terms of giving and receiving?
Yeah.
Let's see. So, and, you know, give like selflessly, like don't just give, you know, with that ulterior motive, but,
that's what I meant. Yeah. Where you just, something happened, you did something, you thought nothing of it. And then in some weird way, there was an odd connection that made a massive impact in your life. Is there anything that's an example of a story like that?
Yeah, let me think of one. I know there's been a bunch of random things. I don't know, because I don't give money to every homeless person I see, but like there's those specific ones where like you look at them in their eyes and you can just tell like you're not here because you're trying to take advantage or, you know, go take this money and go do drugs. Like, you actually need help. And so like those are the ones that like, yeah, you can give them like $2 or $3, but like I'll give them $20, $40. I don't care. Like, here, like I really want to support. But I don't know if that's necessarily translated. I mean, I know what goes around comes around, so I'm sure all the blessings I'm getting in my life is a result of those things. But I'm trying to think if I can find one that ties to it directly. So when I moved out here, I knew that I needed to kind of be the leader of my own ship. So I invested a lot of the money that I had saved up into my own productions, which is kind of what got my resume being built by doing short films and stuff like that. And so I had hired some people, specifically this one director who's good at action. And he's really a stunt coordinator, but he also does a little bit of directing. I'd hired him. This is like literally like towards the end of the pandemic. So everybody's looking for work. Everybody's struggling. But I had hired him just because he had a good heart. And I could tell that like, you know, he was just in a tough spot, but you know, his resume was good. And like I said, he had a good personality and a good heart. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to hire you just because versus hiring somebody else where I know like they have a big name or whatever. And he did what we needed. We got the project done. It was great. I was satisfied. And he was so happy that I hired him that he offered me a role in an even bigger project that he was getting funded. And it was like in the millions. And I was like, oh shit, like this is way more than I did for you. But he just really appreciated that I saw him, even though things looked bad, and I respected him for who he was without like judging or anything like that. And yeah, he offered me this role in this big action film that is supposed to be happening hopefully in the next 2 years. So we'll see.
Nice.
But,
that's good. Thank you for sharing. So that's a good story.
Yeah.
You never know.
I'm still waiting for it to happen. Out here in LA, people will say a lot of things, but until it actually happens, who knows? But the fact that I know that he's definitely connected, for sure. But the fact that he even said that, he's like, I want you to be that character. Like, you don't even have to audition. It's yours. I was like, wow.
Cool. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Hopefully it works out.
Hopefully it works out.
For sure. You've, I think failure we spoke about a few times. Failure and rejection and getting no's. What's been a failure of yours that's been a favorite, if anything, that's had a really, really positive long-term impact in your life that at the time was really shit?
Yeah. So back to producing my own content. When I first got out here, I was trying to build a resume as soon as possible because I was insecure about people saying like, oh, you're an actor? What have you done? What have you been in? And I was like, oh, man, like I hate being in nothing yet, but like I'm going to be in something soon. And so I remember one of the projects I did, I basically tried to do 3 short films in one day. Very stupid. It's very hard to as an actor to learn 3 different scripts, and I really misjudged that. And so I was not prepared to shoot 3 different scripts. But of those 3 scripts, only one of those short films came out good, but I still had to pay for all 3 of them. And so lesson learned,
slow it down a little bit.
Slow it down. It takes time to be creative. Take your time with it. But it's still good because one of the films came out to be really good from it, and it's on my reel and people like it. And at least I got something good out of it. And if anything at all, it taught me how to really produce and how to, slow things down and work with people and manage expectations and that type of thing.
Nice. How do you actually go about technically learning scripts? Like, what is the process of learning a script?
Yeah, you definitely have to take an acting class to fully understand it. But in a nutshell, from my perspective, you have to read it a bunch of times. Minimum, I would say like 5 to 10 times, because you have to understand what's going on in the scene. If you don't understand what's going on in the scene, you'll never ever be able to memorize it or know what's happening.
Is it better to read it out loud if you can? Does that help?
Read it to yourself a couple times and then read it out loud and just really try to visualize. I think that's the key word there is visualization and understanding and, being empathetic and understanding what's actually happening in the scene. And so some scenes are easier than others. Some scenes have very difficult writing so it's harder to completely understand what's going on because you have the clear cut and dry, but then there's ulterior motives and there's like intentions between the different characters. And then there's nuances of what makes certain character a specific way. You don't always get the backstory if you don't have the full scripts. Sometimes you just get sides, which is like 1 or 2 pages. And so just reading it as many times as you can, trying to visualize it, be creative and create your own story around what you're reading. And then once you have that, it's like now, like for example, if I ask you a story about your childhood, you can probably tell me it pretty easily without jumbling on the words because it's something that you felt like you lived, right? And so same thing with the script. How do you make it true to you? You have to read it a bunch of times and understand it. And if you know what's happening, you can you're just recanting like, oh yeah, like da da da. Then the lines just start to come to you. Yeah.
Yeah, you internalize it.
You internalize it, yeah. And then obviously if you have certain specific lines that are kind of hard to remember, just repetition. It's just saying it over and over, you know.
Yeah.
When someone has a speech, they have to read the speech a bunch of times, and then they have to say it a bunch of times, and then it's ingrained in them, and they know it. And I feel like in speeches, in public speaking, in theater, in TV and film, it's all the same. We're just telling a story, a narrative, but you can't do it unless it's true to you. So,
cool, nice. The there's a few things. I'm conscious of time, but I've got a few more questions.
Sure.
You briefly mentioned earlier that you've got a very wide understanding of things, a wide base of knowledge. In your bio, you've mentioned Renaissance man, which I really like that term. I had to Google it. What does he mean? I was like, cool. All right. That's really cool. I feel quite similar about that. I'm very curious about a lot of things. And you've had a lot of success in various fields. So how has all of those disparate understandings of the world positively impacted your career as an actor?
I think the easy answer is once you learn how to be successful in one thing, you just replicate those same behaviors and mindsets and techniques, and you just replicate it across different fields. And a lot of times it translates over. And so like what makes me successful in sports is what made me successful in sales and marketing, is what makes me successful in TV and film. You know, it's having that grit, having that hardworking mentality. It's having that shamelessness, being able to take no for an answer, and knowing that you're not always going to win, but you can always work hard and come back even stronger. You know, my senior year in track and field, I was literally undefeated, did not lose one race. Go to college, lost like the first 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Still stayed humble.
Damn.
Yeah. Still put in the work, and then, you know, made that back some races and stuff like that. But yeah, I hopefully that answers your question.
However it needs to come out, it's fine. And but how is that wide variety of paths potentially negatively impacted your career?
Wide variety of paths. So I think that for me, the only way that I would think it really negatively affected me is the time aspect. They say it takes 21 years to be a master at something.
21 years, goddamn.
Yeah, to be a full-on master of anything. And that's when they pay
the 10,000 hours thing?
Yeah. Yep. 10,000 hours in 21 years or something like that. One of the two. And so like, I think that, you know, because time is limited, it's our most valuable asset resource. I think that if I didn't have my parents holding me back or whatever, and let's say I was a child actor and I had started that from the beginning, like who knows where I would have been now, you know what I'm saying? Versus like same with sports. Like if I had started early on and I stuck with it throughout now, who knows where I would have been with the sports, you know? I mean, same with sales. Like if I did that throughout my career instead of doing all these other different things, like I probably would have been way higher up than I am. But I don't necessarily think it's negatively affected me because I found success in all these different things, even though I wasn't the best in all of them. But I will try and be the best in TV and film for sure. But I think that, I'll say, but probably that, right?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, that's fine. The path that we take isn't linear, right? You don't really know. Maybe you wouldn't have got to acting at all if you did do all those other things. And
because you'd be surprised. In acting, the more of a life that you live makes you a better actor.
I can imagine.
The more experience you have in life, the more places you've been, the more people you've met, the more you understand how the world works. Like when they're hiring for, we'll say The Office, if you've never worked in a corporate setting, how would you be able to act that better than someone who's actually done it? You know what I'm saying? You have to have that life experience. You have to have been able to empathize with it, see it, understand it for you to go and be on that show. Same thing with all the shows with cops and police officers. Like we'll see in auditions now on the listings, they'll literally say real cops, like real, like we don't want these
Been
like
in
fake
jail
people,
for 10 years.
But they don't want to see those like fake, like people that act like they've been there and it's not true. It's not a true experience. And when we watch TV, we want to see true, like real stuff. So
for sure. That goes back to the empathy element and just understanding the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I just did a quick calculation, 10,000 hours, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year. It's 20 years.
20 years. I was close. Yeah.
No, you're exactly right. Yeah. I mean, whether it's 2 hours, if you're going to study something, doing it for 2 hours a day is probably reasonable on the side. Yeah. Let's do 4 hours a day, it's 10 years. If you do 6 hours a day, it's 6 years.
Yeah.
If you focus on something 8 hours a day and grow and study it, and in 5 years, you could potentially be a master.
You know what? I'm so glad that you told me that, because one of the biggest lessons I learned this year was you don't have to do everything all at once. It's all about setting small, actionable, attainable goals and building on from that. So like I read this quote where this guy was like, if you save $100 a week for a year, which shouldn't be that hard to do, you would have 30 something $1,000 in a year. Do that for 10 years, it becomes almost $500,000. 20 years, you have $1 million. Same thing. Like you really don't have to just try and get rich quick or try and do everything the quick way. Take the time, break it up. Like I could do this for 30 minutes a day. I could read for 30 minutes a day. If you read, it said, I think same article said, if you read 30 minutes a day, you would have read like 20 books in a year or something like that, which isn't even that hard. I could read for 30 minutes a day, but like the way that I do it now is like, I know that I need to read. So I try and find time, and I was like, all right, but maybe I'll like commit like 3 hours to it on Sunday. And then it never actually happens,
Yeah. I mean, your life is a culmination of your habits and your actions. I started 75 Hard for a little bit. I ended up breaking it because I was so busy with the move. But once I'm settled here, I'm going to do it again. And one of the things on 75 Hard, if you don't know anything about it, is reading 10 pages of a nonfiction book a day. So I've kind of tried my best, even while not doing 75 Hard, to at least do those 10 pages. And I worked out the math because I'm an engineer by trade, and I've got that frame of thinking, and I'm really, really, I have a clear understanding of the fact that little things build and become big things with consistent effort. And that's like a huge part of my life, just chipping away.
Chip away, 1%
chip
better.
away. So you've got 10 pages a day. That's 7 days a week. That's 70 pages a week. A book is 300 pages, right? So 70 pages a week times 52 weeks is 3,600 pages. If you just read 10 pages a day, assume a book's 300 pages, you've read 12 books in a year.
12 books.
That's a book a month. 10 pages a day. 10 pages a day takes about 15 minutes.
That's amazing. That's the goal. And like for me, I probably read like 3 books last year because I was like, man, I want to at least like get like, I thought I was going to be able to do one a month, but it's like I didn't break it up correctly, like how you're saying it.
10 pages a day,
I can do 10 pages a day.
Yeah, of course you can do 10 pages a day. And a big thing I've noticed is I've got a higher chance of doing it if I do it. I wake up and get straight into that. First thing I do, just get the book out, get like a thing of water if I have a coffee or if I'm making like a shake, get it, sit there, read, done. Next thing.
Well, I'm proud of myself because I'm pretty much fluent in Spanish, but I still practice every day. My streak right now on Duolingo is 390 days. And so like, that's probably the most consistent thing that I have in my life currently. But besides waking up and brushing my teeth and like working out and stuff like that. But I want to see, and I brought that up because that's when I wake up. That's the first thing I do. I just know that I have to like continue my streak. So every morning I do my Spanish first. It's the most easiest. I can't do it at night for some reason. But yeah, maybe I gotta, see if I can incorporate. There's a couple things I need to add in my life. It's the book reading. It's the meditation. My roommate's really good at that. He meditates daily. And reflecting. So if I can like do a little bit of those 3 things every day, I think I'm going to be like So much better. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know how to speak Spanish? Did you learn all of your fluent Spanish through Duolingo, or was there another strategy?
No, so I went to so in high school I took those classes. I did well in them. That was like the original baseline. Then in college I got a minor in it, and then through the minor program we did study abroad, and so I lived in Spain for like 6 months, and that's where I like really immersed myself in it and like really picked it up. And now I use Duolingo because I still don't know all the vocabulary. There's so many words, and there's so many different tenses as well. Like I pretty much know how to speak past tense, present tense, present, subjunctive or whatever, and then the future tense. But like, there's still some more tenses and stuff I need to learn. So like, I honestly, Duolingo is great for learning that type of stuff and vocab. I think even more so, it's probably better that I start watching shows in Spanish and listening to like podcasts or songs. That's where you can pick all those stuff. If you can pick up anything Bad Bunny is saying, then you really know Spanish, because he speaks so fast. But
Yeah.
I'll pick up like bits and pieces. But yeah, so I just want to master it, because if you master Spanish, French will be a piece of cake. Italian will be a piece of cake, and all the other ones will start to unlock.
Latin languages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, let's, there's one thing I want to move into, and then we'll do a bit of a rapid fire. So yeah, run me through what it was like working with Drake and Little Dicky, and how that show, that was a show, right? Or a movie?
TV show. Yeah. Season 3 of Dave's show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How that happened, and, that experience working with some pretty big people in the entertainment industry.
Yeah. So, how it happened. So I was working for the tech company that I was telling you about. And it was during the time where a lot of people's jobs weren't secure. There were just a lot of tech layoffs happening in the industry. And so they sent out a message to a lot of us, and I felt like, let me take advantage of this severance package and chase my dreams. And like, yeah, exactly. And so I did that, and literally a week later, this role that I had auditioned for weeks before came in, and I had booked it. My agent was like jumping up and down, like, "You're my first booking in my agency," because she had just created her agency. She was a brand new agent. And so I was hyped. I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "What is it for?" She's like, "This show called Dave." I was like, "Oh wow." And oh my God, everyone's calling me. And it was awesome, because I looked at the cast list, and it was like Brad Pitt, Drake, Lil Dicky, Rachel McAdams, and I was like, "What the?" I was like, "Me?" I was like, "How the hell did I book this?" Because like, just like applying for jobs, auditioning, that process is like literally throwing a freaking pencil in a haystack or a needle in a haystack and like hoping that you get picked. It's very tough. And so I was hype. I went on set. I was super nervous. I met Lil Dicky. I actually didn't meet Drake because they shot his part on a different day. Hopefully I'm allowed to say that because I signed an NDA. But yeah, it was cool meeting him. It was cool like sitting right next to him in the makeup room and getting our hair and makeup done together, and chatted up with him for a little bit, and yeah, doing the scene, and being able to like hug him and shake his hand and all that type of stuff. It was just crazy. It made it surreal, and that's when I was like, all right, I'm really going to chase this dream, because if I can do this, hopefully I can do anything, right? And as great of a role as it was for me in the beginning of my career, like people that are actually in this space look at it like that's nothing. Like you had a couple lines on a co-star, but like for me, it was everything. I was like, man, like this lets me know that it's possible for me. Like I'm literally on Hulu. I'm on a TV show. It's live. I'm with a bunch of stars. This was like, for me, it was like kind of like foreshadowing what's possible. And so that's when I really went for it. I was like, yeah, let me take this seriously. And I started doing everything I could to, get to that next level. And just recently, fast forward a year, this past January, I did an even bigger role where I actually have like 2 episodes and a bunch of scenes, and I'm like the main person in it. So
nice,
just keep building up, man. I mean, that's all you can do.
Just it's like that $100 a week and what that turns into. It's the exact same concept.
Yeah.
That 2 lines, little things, everything in life starts from something small.
Right.
Everything. Like the massive oak tree is a fucking acorn.
Yeah.
Like the biggest company is a little guy on a laptop in a bedroom. Like it all begins from nothing.
It all began somewhere. Yeah. That's 2 humble beginnings. So.
Yeah. So, no, nice one. And what advice would you give, someone coming up, particularly immigrants who are struggling to find their kind of place in a new country or their identity and want to do more with their life?
Yeah, that's interesting because, when I moved here, it was definitely awkward, changing from what I was used to in Africa to here to the norms in the U.S. It's cold, super cold in the U.S. Like people are so different. The norms here are different. Rarely do you see somebody eating with their hands like you would in Africa. But that's just
I
like
love
one of the
eating with
small
my
things.
hands. I think it's like a really, really good thing for your body.
Yeah.
To eat with your hands.
Yeah, I agree. I love it, but you got to use forks and stuff, right? But I think the number one thing I would say is stay true to yourself, because no matter what, you're always going to find a pocket of people that like you for you. And even now today, we're seeing it more so. If you look at the data, that more and more companies are trying to find those unique, authentic individuals, and they're unfortunately they're making money from it. But like that's what's in right now. Like versus like when I first moved here, like people would look at Africans and be like no one really even liked us like that. But now people are wearing our cloths and our clothes and stuff. So I think the first piece of advice is be true and authentic to yourself. And then in terms of just like, wanting to make something of yourself and, make your dreams come true. We talked about it earlier, but just be obsessed with it. Like you can't say you want to do something and you're not even convinced that you could do it. You got to really convince yourself that it's possible. You have to open up your mind, open up your heart, ask for help, because Rome wasn't built by one person. It was built by the help of many millions of different people. So ask for help. Be open-minded, and just be hardworking, chip by chip, brick by brick, 1% better every day. You'll get it done.
Mm-hmm. And how important do you think networking is in the industry?
Huge.
How do you be a better networker?
You be a better networker by trying to understand people and be more empathetic, and basically, just trying to connect with people. It's more about connecting with people than networking, because connection brings a bigger circle of like, you have like a bigger family. We'll say you have your family, your close family, you have your extended family. We all know that when it's family, they'll do anything to help you. They want to see you succeed because it's family. And so take that same concept and move it to your extended family and try to build family with everybody else versus just trying to use people for one thing and then get rid of them, because people see that from a mile away and they don't care about it and they don't want to help you. But if you get to know people, they do.
What is the essence of building family to you that isn't necessarily blood family? Like what makes
it's having people that I can rely on for certain things. It's knowing that I have a home away from home. Like I have friends in Barcelona still that I'm connected with today. If I really need a place to stay, I could just hit them up. But I'll probably get an Airbnb when I go out there this weekend. But like just knowing that I could always hit them up and connect with them, and we can meet up for drinks and food and stuff. And like, I don't need anything from them except for them. I'm just happy that they're in my life, and whatever comes with that is great. But yeah,
So just being there, supporting people without any expectation of getting anything back, and just being there for people in a way that they know that they can rely on you when you need them, when they need you.
Exactly. And I think that if the world followed the same mindset, who knows, we probably would never have war or any of this other crazy stuff we have to deal with.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Speaking of maybe war, the industry is a bit of a war zone, but it's also like covered with glitz and glamour. What are some examples of the dark side of this industry that you've experienced, and like how have you overcome them?
Yeah. You hear a lot of stories, and sometimes those stories are proven to be true. But I don't want to say I like to be ignorant, but I just try to like just focus on the positive. Yeah, I try not to. I don't even really watch the news because I don't really care too much to fill my mind with the negative stuff. It's good to be in the know. It's good to know what's going on around you, but I just try to just stay positive and just surround myself around people that are just always thinking positive and trying to move forward and build and build. And so, as far as like the dark parts of the industry goes, um, it is a who you know type of game. It is a playing favorites type of game out here. And some people have to do favors to become that favorite and stuff like that. And I'm blessed, luckily, to have not had to deal with that. But yeah, I think I just, like you said, what we were talking about earlier, being able to know when to say no, to know yourself, stand up for yourself, and know your value. And yeah,
Hmm. For sure. For
yeah,
sure. Just try and stay away from it as much as you can and focus on the good.
right. Focus on
For
the good.
sure. The
Be the face of change.
yeah.
You
Yeah, I
know
like that.
that old Hollywood is eventually going to fade out. It's not going to be here forever, and it only takes us, the new people, which thankfully a lot of us. I know Gen Z is like they're so good for some reason. Like they care so much about diversity and inclusion and LGBTQ and gay people's rights and all of that, and they're just so inclusive, and that's how it's supposed to be. And everyone, there's so much more love, and I think that eventually these older guys are going to fade out and the new guys are going to come in, and then that's just going to be what it is.
Yeah,
You
for
know?
sure. I like it. The thing that I think about a lot with the news, like I'm the same. I barely ever watch the news. I don't really pay any attention. I heard somewhere a while ago that if it's important enough, you'll eventually hear about
Mm-hmm.
it. Like,
Exactly.
and and you are the product when it comes to news. Your attention is the product. If you follow the money to its source, if the money is going from advertisers to the media outlet, and your attention is their product. So they're
Exactly.
going to do everything they can to maintain
Your
that
attention.
value.
Yeah.
Mm. So you've got to be very careful with what you're actually reading and paying attention to.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that you have over the last 2 years changed your mind on?
Definitely what I mentioned earlier about just breaking things up into pieces and tackling smaller goals versus just going big for the big one and trying to just get it done. Also, trying to do everything by myself. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist in that no one's going to ever put in as much work or do things as good as you think that you will. But just being able to trust other people and, laying off some of that work to other people and hoping that they can get it done. And then along those lines, also trust, coming here, I was a little bit more reserved and didn't open up to as many people. But I learned to wear my heart on my sleeve and learned how that is actually beneficial to me as an actor. And in acting classes, I had some breakthroughs that let me feel that, it's okay to be human and we all, go through the same things. We all have a lot of the similar traits. And yeah.
Yeah, nice. And what's the kindest thing anyone's ever done for you?
Kindest thing anyone's ever done for me. Um, people are actually like I said, what goes around comes around. So a lot of people do a lot of nice things for me. But I think that probably the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me, man. Somebody to pick from. Maybe like going to like a restaurant and ordering food, and then the person just because I'm good vibes, the person just like looking at me, smiling back, like this one's on me. You got it. Don't worry about
I
it.
love that.
I'm like, wait, what? I was gonna swipe my card. No, I got you. No. And then we're going back and forth saying like, no, I'll pay. He's like, no, I got it. It's on you. No, let me pay. No. Just take it. That happens a bunch. But is that the kindest thing? I don't know. Maybe putting in a referral for me. I think that I love when people talk good about you when you're not there. So the role that I got this past January, that's probably the kind. Actually, yeah. Let's say that. So the way that I got that role was going to an event. It was an HBCU event, and I met this lady. She said that she was a publicist. And I said, "Oh, cool." She's like, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm an actor." She said, "Oh, okay." She's like, "Well, have you been in anything that I would know about?" And I told her humbly, I was like, "No, I've only done this like kind of small role, but there was some like big actors on the show. It was cool, but I'm still building and hoping to get to the next level." And she's like, "Oh, okay. Well, send me your stuff. Give me a reel, your headshots, and we'll see what happens." And I was like, "All right." Not me. I didn't think anything of it. I just sent it just because she seemed like a nice lady. I didn't know who she knew or anything like that. But I sent it to her, and then like a month and a half later, she sent me an audition. She said, "Hey, can you submit this audition for this role?" And I didn't even tell my agent about it. So I thought it was something small. But I was in that phase where I would say yes to a lot of things. So I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Turned it in, and then it came back, and they're like, "Hey, they want to see you again for a callback." And I was like, "Oh, wait, what actually is this?" Because I don't even know what I'm kind of doing here. I just was just submitting an audition. I didn't know what show it was for. And then they told me, I was like, "Oh, snap." So I started taking it way more seriously. And so then I did the callback, and then I booked it. And yeah, my biggest role on TV to date.
Nice.
And
it all came from an event, being nice to somebody and not overthinking it and just.
Yeah. And she didn't have to do me the favor. They said that, I guess the director said that she like kind of like greased the wheel a little bit and told them like, I'm such a nice guy and like I should be given the shot and this and that. And this is like a show that's been around for some time. I mean, there's 5 seasons, so it's like an established show. They're making money. It's on BT Plus. It's on Netflix. And so yeah, it was just a blessing, to be honest. Yeah.
Nice. Something that I really like around this is when someone pays for you or does something like that, just paying it forward.
So, yeah, always. Yeah.
Yeah. Just saying to the person, "Cool, all right, I appreciate you. You've got this. I'm going to take this and pay it forward to somebody else."
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really nice. A couple of quick rapid fires. What's the, if you could only recommend one book for somebody to read for their whole life that would have the biggest impact on them, what do you think it would be?
Curious. I'm just going to be a fanboy. Go with that.
Yeah, be a fanboy. Love it. And is there anything that you're excited about at the moment you'd like to let the listeners in on? I don't know why I said and.
Yeah, I'm excited about, whenever this show comes out, it's going to be huge. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about this play that I'll be doing in July. I'm doing a stage play, my first professional in-person stage play. It's going to be a new experience for me, but it'll be good for the resume. I'm excited about my trip to Europe. Yeah.
Nice. And where can people find you if they're interested?
Guys, if you want to follow the journey, you can find me on Instagram at Vic_Brew, BREW, brew like coffee, or beer if you drink beer. You can also find me on Snapchat under the same username, Threads, every social media platform. If I'm not active on it, I'm sorry. I'm working on it, but I'm a one-man team really when it comes to social media. But yeah, you can find me on all those platforms under that username. The only one that's different is Facebook. It's Victor Alexander. Where actually I might have changed it, but yeah.
So, yeah, you got to make that consistency on your branding.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. And last question for the podcast: what do you think the why of all of this is? What do you think the meaning of life is?
The meaning of life. The meaning of life, in my book, is to grow up, enjoy. I'll just use adjectives. Grow up, enjoy, spread love, procreate, give back, and contribute to the next generation.
Nice.
To keep it going. Because life can end very quickly. Like what's going on with global warming Earth could be done for all we know, and then we're the ones that screwed it up for everybody else that had future lives. So yeah, I think it's important that we find a way to work together to keep this thing going on for as long as possible.
I have faith in humans. I know a lot of people shit on us, but I think when our backs are against the wall, we figure it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. And we have a way to get to Mars. So
yeah, exactly. I love it. Thank you, Vic. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate you giving this podcast a go. And
yes, sir.
It's been good to connect.
Good to connect, man. If you're ever in LA, hit me up.
I will.
And I'll do the same when I'm in New York.
Sounds good. And anyone listening, like, subscribe, give it a rating. It helps us a lot. Until next time. Thank you.
Until next time.